Bro, that's what it's all about, bro. We hunt like wild dogs. Let's get it. Gang on me, gang on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Okay, at the end of the 2023 season, interim head coach Antonio Pierce had the Las Vegas Raiders dominating on defense and won some games down the stretch. Then he became the full-time head coach the next year, and unfortunately he only lasted the 1 year. He was compromised by then GM Tom Telesco. Pierce wanted the Raiders to trade up in the draft for Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, or Bo Nix, but instead Telesco signed Gardner Minshew. Pierce also wanted to hire offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, but ended up with Luke Getsy. Of course, none of the moves worked out, and Pierce and Telesco were fired because of it. Then in comes Pete Carroll to Las Vegas, and that's getting bad results. Minority owner Tom Brady did something similar to Carroll as what Telesco did to Pierce. He stuck him with an offensive coordinator he didn't want, but Carroll got his guy at quarterback and a few other guys he wanted. As you know, the offensive coordinator is gone now, just like the last one was fired in the middle of the season. So now we're left to wonder if Carroll's going to make it to next year. Do you think the Raiders should keep Carroll for stability purposes, or is that not the right guy and stability you want? One case for keeping Carroll is the Raiders' job is looked at as a bad job to have around the league. The coaching carousel is obviously the reason why. A head coach that knows what he's doing is going to want time to establish his scheme and culture and get players that fit his scheme and culture. Never mind all the head coaches the Raiders have had since 2002. They've had 3 since 2021. That's enough, isn't it? Top head coach candidates are not coming unless they're sure they're going to get a chance to get their program going. Therefore, Davis might be required to give a big name coach the same kind of deal he gave to John Gruden. Then Davis runs the risk of giving a guy a big contract and things not working out when he does that. Then he has to choose between paying a guy not to coach his team for 10 years and holding the team hostage with a bad coach. Well, you can't really hold the team hostage with a bad coach because the good players that are on the team will leave if you do that. That means Davis and Brady are going to have to roll the dice on a not-so-big-named head coach with not so much experience. Carroll got $16 million a year to coach the Raiders. What's the next guy going to get? Another thing Carroll has going for himself is the fact that he's a Super Bowl winning coach. He went to back-to-back Super Bowls but only won one because someone called a pass play, and then Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson threw an interception. Being able to go to back-to-back Super Bowls is impressive nonetheless, though. It's not just that Carroll went to back-to-back Super Bowls. It's not just that he's one of 2 guys to win a college national championship in a Super Bowl either. It's how he turned the 2 programs around to do it. Carroll got fired from his head coaching job with the New England Patriots in 1999 and went down to USC, whose program was down at the time, and dominated. At USC, Carroll and the Trojans won 7 straight Pac-10 titles and back-to-back national championships in 2023 and 4. In 2010, he went to the Seattle Seahawks, who had a losing program at the time. They were 5-11 the year before his arrival. Then a couple of years later, he went 11-5, then went to back-to-back Super Bowls to win 1. The big difference is he had full control at USC and the Seahawks. He's always succeeded when he's had full control. To start the case against him, those Super Bowls were in 2012 and 13. Are his ways even effective anymore? He's a defensive guy, so that's more or less what you have to judge him on. He still runs that cover 3 he ran when he went on those Super Bowl runs. Every defense has its strengths and weaknesses, and the weaknesses for the cover 3 have been exposed and exploited. Carroll's bullish on this though, because he still runs his beloved cover 3 55% of the time to lead the league. The rest of the NFL uses it at times, but they mix it in with a bunch of other things to switch it up, but only the Raiders use it as their foundational defense. The NFL as a whole moved away from cover 3 heavy defenses. Even Dan Quinn, Carroll's former defensive coordinator with the Seahawks, doesn't run as much cover 3 anymore. He runs it on only 32.5% of his defensive snaps with the Washington Commanders. I guess this is why there are some out there that say the game has passed Carroll by. Once he saw his scheme work to the tune of 2 Super Bowl trips and a Super Bowl win, he's been unwilling to move off of it. Never mind the fact that the NFL has adapted to it. That's probably the biggest case to fire him, along with the way he handles the offensive line. Remember, the offensive line is the reason why he got ran out of Seattle. Carroll's son and offensive line coach Brendan Carroll failed upward. He took over as offensive line coach at Washington in 2024, and the offensive line got exponentially worse. In 2023, before Carroll got there, Washington won the Joe Moore Award for the nation's best offensive line. In 2024, under Carroll, Washington had the worst offensive line in the Big Ten. They gave up 39 sacks to lead the conference and struggled to run block. And lo and behold, Daddy hires him, and the Raider offensive line is exponentially worse. Last year, the Raiders were number 10 in pass blocking and number 20 in run blocking. This year, they're number 28 in pass blocking and number 29 in run blocking. They've given up the second most sacks in the NFL so far, too. Left tackle Colt Miller already was who he was before Carroll and Son got here. So is Jackson Powers-Johnson, and they're the best two offensive linemen they have. All this nepotism and playing favorites has to go. Yeah, Carroll has his favorites and non-favorites on that offensive line. He preaches competition every day, but moved Jordan Meredith to center and Jackson Powers-Johnson to guard without letting them compete for the job. At first, I thought that was all former offensive coordinator Chip Kelly's doing, but that had to be Carroll and Son, or all three. What they've done with the offensive line since Kelly's been gone doesn't give me confidence either. When Powers got hurt, they moved Meredith to right guard and Will Putnam to center. They were willing to move Meredith to guard for Putnam, but not for the Remington Award winner. Needless to say, none of that crap worked out, and now career guard Alex Coppa is at center. He's not a good center either, but he's better than Meredith. And during all that, they found a way not to put third-round pick Caleb Rogers at right guard. Then finally, the Raiders had one injury too many, and Rogers had to play, and when he did, he looked like he should have been there all along. I'm not buying the narrative that he developed like Carroll said either, because this son isn't developing anyone. Young offensive linemen like left guard Dylan Parham and right tackle DJ Glaze are worse than they were last year. Corner Caillou Blue Kelly is another one of Carroll's favorites that held the youngster back from getting his chance. Darian Porter has shown he has star potential ever since training camp, where he looked like he was going to start, but it didn't happen. No one was even talking about Kelly until he was already announced to be one of the starters. Then he proceeded to get charbroiled as he was among the league's leaders in completion percentage and yards given up. He was the leader in yards given up at one time. When people were starting to ask about that situation, Carroll kind of danced around it until he got a couple of interceptions for him to brag about. Never mind that every time the opposing team needs a big play or first down they throw at him. Never mind that when Stokes couldn't play in the game and Porter started with Kelly, they threw at Kelly. Yes, he has good hands, but he gives up way too much in coverage. It took him getting injured for Porter to even get a shot, and since then he's looked much better than Kelly, just like he did the previous times he was in there. Kelly's a Carroll favorite because of his days with him back in Seattle. Once Carroll's a fan, he's always a fan. You can bet on it. Quarterback Geno Smith is a favorite of all favorites for Carroll, as the team has been held hostage by him all year. Smith is also the most costly of all Carroll's favorites. He's tied for the NFL lead in interceptions, and he's been ineffective as the Raiders are number 31 in total offense and dead last in scoring offense. He still has his job, though. The only reason why backup quarterback Kenny Pickett looks like he's going to start Sunday is Smith is injured and can't play. Otherwise, no one else is going to play quarterback for the Raiders, no matter how bad Smith plays. It really didn't matter. Smith can throw 3 interceptions with the game still winnable in the third quarter, and Smith is going to finish the game. Even though Smith's tied for the league's leading interceptions, Carroll won't hold Smith accountable for all those interceptions in his press conferences. Then all we hear Smith say is, "I gotta be better for my guys," and he goes out and throws 3 more interceptions. Oh wait, we got a new one coming from Carroll now. He says we're almost there on offense. The breakout game is coming soon. Week 14 is a little too late to be almost there, isn't it? Man, Carroll's talking about being almost there on offense this late in the season. Did he get stuck in a time capsule? Does he think it's week 4 or 5? There wouldn't be anything wrong with that if he was preaching rebuild from day one, but he was talking win now. It's definitely supposed to be win now when you bring in your veteran quarterback and other veteran players. Oh, and can someone tell me how this can be win now when you're experimenting players in different positions? Well, neither the experiments nor the veterans worked out, so this season didn't work out. But Carroll's a Super Bowl winning coach that's always won when he's had full control. So what do you think they should do with Carroll? Thank you for watching. See you next time.